My name's Alex Loyalty, and I'm here with NHYPE Magazine doing an interview in downtown Los Angeles, California. I was born actually in Providence, Rhode Island, smallest state in like the whole country, and I would consider Fort Lauderdale home, or Broward County, from Broward County, but I was raised in a bunch of different cities there, but most people know Fort Lauderdale. My love for music, I've had it my entire life. I've always been super passionate about it, but I've always been a creative person. When it came to pursuing music, I was interested in developing other artist brands that I identified as like unique or stood out to me. And I always knew that in some way I wanted to get involved in music, and I always try to keep it as like running side by side with my other artistic ventures that I had going on. But like when I was like 18 or 19, I found this artist in Broward that he just stood out to me because he reminded me of me when it came to his ability to he handled all his stuff himself. And this artist, Vicky Vendetta, he's still my brother to this day. Always do when I want to get involved with someone is I'll reach out to them and show them what I could do for them. And then see how we can grow together. And I had reached out to him saying like, I want to help you brand and build what you already have. And he just knew how to bring people together. He knew how to bring, groups of girls to promote his brand. He knew how to bring artists together. He knew how to like stir things up. He was a really good promoter, and I stepped to him to help him, take what he had to another level. And that's where like really getting involved in music started for me locally and like in Broward County and Fort Lauderdale. I've been doing music management for almost 15 years. Almost 15 years, yeah. I have a few different companies and a few different labels. Some I'm just, I have ownership in. I was the former COO of a record label called NZ Records. And I currently co-own Bighead Music Group. My partner with that label is Bighead. He's known for producing Gucci Gang, and a bunch of other records for Lil Pump, Lil Peep, NBA Youngboy. And we started a label together called Bighead Music Group. We also own a publishing company called Bighead Music Publishing. But my company that oversees all of my companies is called Loyalty Enterprise, and everyone's called me Loyalty since I was a kid. So my like parent company for everything is Loyalty Enterprise, which is kind of like it's a creative tool for everything when it comes to advertising, marketing, consulting, music development, brand development, like everything's done through that company. Music is a tough environment for physical health and mental health to begin with. Hip hop, more specifically, is a very tough and can often be a very toxic environment. I think over the years, I've probably learned to put like pride and ego aside, put aside maybe like an emotional connection to things and kind of see things through to the end, so that if I've created a combination of being like healthily attached and unhealthily attached to something. And the way I've probably gone through things is really just like detaching from things and seeing what's most important for the end result. A lot of people in this industry will just like get what they can out of something or skip over something if they don't see an immediate gain from it, whereas I'll look at things for what can grow with them in the long run and how can I nurture something to make it be the vision that I have. And I feel like people who have been the most successful have nurtured things into success. So the way I've maintained like healthy interaction with things is like treating things with respect, treating situations with respect, treating people with respect, being honest almost to a fault, and nurturing things to become the best that they can, whether it be an artist, a company, a producer. That's always been my outlook on things, and nobody's perfect, but it's hard to do. It's hard in this genre, and it's hard in music to move, nobly. But that's what I work to do, and that's how I maintain like a healthy relationship with the people around me and things that I do. Yeah, Executive producing the Gunna Yung Booke and Bighead record was a very daunting task because I took it from creating the record, bring the opportunity for the record to exist all the way up to seeing the vision for the visuals, and then I oversee like marketing, distribution, and everything for the record. So keeping that all in line is truly a combination of like patience, skill, and really like just staying connected with the universe and reality, and like blessings also falling into place. If specifically you're like on set. There's respect that comes from these artists when it comes to professionally getting things done. I work with people who are going to see the vision and ensure that vision happens alongside me to maintain like professionalism on a set. But there's a lot of things that went into the background of ensuring like the safety and security of the set, such as like limiting the set down to, first of all, with COVID, there's like capacities on set, and COVID restrictions that have to be in place. So those actually kind of help where there's not going to be just an overhauling of endless people and endless crews. So, kind of in like a blessing and a curse type way that does ensure limited people on the set. And then on top of that, we have like set security and set staff to make sure like, only who needs to be there is there, and we move in and out the people that are needed for each individual shots. But it definitely is a group effort between like myself and the way I communicate to everyone what needs to be done, and then everybody on set doing their jobs as well. I would say every single day. Like every day is definitely a new challenge. Every day there's some type of new piece of drama or some crazy hurdle. I feel like there's always a new obstacle to get over, and I feel like having been through so many obstacles, I'm so used to them that they just kind of become a part of life, which becomes a really good exercise because I've never looked at anything as something that can't be gotten through or gotten over. I've never seen rules that aren't able to be bent or broken. And when people ask me, how did you do this or how did you do that? I think a lot of people see with, what they can't do instead of figuring out a way to do it. I have not, in life, not everything I've tried to do has worked out, but I've never not tried 10 times beyond what most people would do to make something happen. And that's how I've gotten to where I'm at, by pushing through every single obstacle as hard as I can. And then even if I didn't get something specifically done, I found a new opportunity in that push. So, I mean, I would say like there's a lot of countless stories I could say when it comes to like things that I thought were absolutely impossible, but they got done. I mean, I've been told, my business partner, my producer, Bighead, a lot of people told me to give up on him. He's almost 1 year sober now, just like amazing. And most people would have told me like to give up on him, and that he could be impossible. But I didn't feel that way. I saw into his heart. I saw what he was capable of, and I pushed through that. And I think a lot of people would to this day say that they thought that would have been impossible, and yet we've made incredible strides over the past year. So like, that one probably stands out significantly. But I would say every single day I face something that is impossible that I push through and make happen. I asked myself this actually like a week or two ago, because I have multi-platinum records. I have Billboard topping records as a manager, as a publisher, and as a label owner. I have like all these like awards and plaques and things that define what success is supposed to be. Hundreds of millions of streams, billions of streams, records with people that people would fight all day to get. I honestly feel like my biggest achievement truly was like helping my business partner get to sobriety, because that's how we were able to now continue into this year successfully together, and him see success and bring him the success he deserves. That to me is honestly like I think my biggest accomplishment right now. The funny thing about music is that there's rules, and at the same time there's no rules. And two people could fall into those categories. You can get lucky and blow up and be viral. Things could just fall into place for you your whole life. That happens. And then some people blow up by a very like well-oiled like structure and machine and a plan, and sometimes a combination of that and just random acts. But I would say outside of talent, for an artist to develop, definitely has to be a self-pushing factor, an aggressive factor, a will and a desire to push through many obstacles. There's a lot of things you have to get through, and it's not like, oh, it's even what seems as overnight success is not success. I think the biggest thing for an artist, even an artist that's achieved like a massive top record, what ensures their success is realizing that that's not success yet. Success is to continue to push for the next year, the next 2 years, the next 3 years, the next 4 years, to really solidify yourself in the industry as an artist that's here to stay. I know it might be hard to believe, but like it's not impossible and it's not hard to get like a record that blows up overnight. What's hard, or would be considered impossible, is to stick around, to prove, to the industry, to prove to fans that you're a long-term artist there to stay. So outside of talent usually being a given is, a long-term effort to push yourself, the ability to get up and know it's not all just partying. You have to get up and work. You have to get up and push out more records, not just sitting on this one record and having fun because it's what's like the top of the charts right now. Focusing on the next thing and working with your team to, get up and do the next thing, and motivating the people around you just as much as your team's going to motivate you to continue to push and be successful, to stay around and create, like you said, is a long-term foundation, not just a short-term situation. The way I motivate clients to remain consistent is really being real. I wouldn't say everyone, but I do find a lot of like yes men in this. If someone wants to stick around with somebody, they might just yes them in their situation. If they don't see like a way to convince somebody to do the right thing, they'll just yes them or just let them sit in their situation. I've always been the type, even if it's not what's perfect for me or risks my own ability to be pushed out of the situation, I've always been real with an artist, real with the producer, real with whoever it is, and honest to the core, to the point that person sees into me and sees, oh, this person's not just saying this for themselves. They really mean this about me. They really want what's best for me. They really see me for me, and they're really trying to motivate me. And by delivering that honesty, I'm able to like connect with talent that I work with, because they're like, oh shit, this person really sees me for me, sees who I am, maybe sees my flaws, but they also see, what's good about me, and they really want to push me. And usually that works. Even if it doesn't work right away, sometimes it's a year later where that person will come back to me and be like, you were right, I should have listened, or it does work right away. Or sometimes it doesn't, but like always being honest and like, or trying to be as honest to the T as you possibly can be, or figuring out how to deliver the right message to a talent for them to see what's going to be best for them. We have our big records, and then we have records that are unreleased, and like, so I have this artist, G-Lock, who we haven't even really started fully pushing yet. He's so talented, and I love all of his records. A lot of the times I could be in a situation where like some of my favorite records are the ones that aren't out yet. They're like the artists that aren't even that big yet, that I'm still moving puzzle pieces around to be able to get them to where they need to be. But this artist, G-Lock, and his music is just such a vibe. Like it's so dope, it's just so chill. It's like a smoker's vibe, smoker's music. I think a song that's on its way out, though, that we'll be seeing really soon is by Yung Booke, my artist Yung Booke, that I co-manage with my partner Jameen. He has a song with Keed that it's called King of Pop, and it's so fire. And I can't really say who the next features are going to be on it, but like there's been a lot of big artists that are fighting over being like the primary feature on the record. That one I'm really excited about. But I think it'd be hard to say because there's so many, and I listen to them so many times. But I would say look out for our artist G-Lock and some of our records with Booke that are coming out that are super dope. Is to have a plan from the beginning of what you want to do. But when it comes to a plan, I think the most important thing is to be flexible in that plan and pre-plan for changes, whether it be the record not performing exactly as you want, or the record performing incredibly, or the record performing differently than planned, and then knowing like what you're going to do from there, whether it goes to like a remix with another feature, pouring more into social media, marketing, be it TikTok, running press. I think the most important thing with following up with the record is the pre-plan phase, but also having follow-up plans with the record based on the direction that it's going in. And then knowing from there, like, you had like 3 or 4 different possible options that you already were ready for, and just be ready to execute on those. I've been working in or around the business for a while, doing a lot of different things, anywhere from management, a lot of these things tie together. There's so many different elements to the music business. I mean, it's such an interesting culture. I mean, fashion is one end, show promotions are another, publishing is one end, managing is one end, record releases is one end, merch is one end, and I've touched so many different areas of it. But the way I think, you know, and you could work on something for so long, and right when you think, you know, you're like, what, something can just, a whole new thing can just come along right from there. I would say the things that have touched me most, because I mean, I know how hard of a worker I am. I know that no matter what I touch, I'm gonna make something happen with it. I mean, even if it's not music, like if I decided to start a restaurant tomorrow, I'm gonna make the restaurant be the most unique restaurant within my plans. But I think the coolest thing about working in music, and when you're doing something like the right way, in a good way, and different, where some people, you know, maybe do things, you know, a lot of people might feel like in this business, there's a lot of people that don't do things the right way, or don't look out for the next person next to them, their business partners or their artists or their producers. I think the best feeling for me is when I've like helped people, helped artists, helped producers, or put people in new positions that they've never been before, maybe never could have been in, like opening a door that was like, had a lock on it that they couldn't get into unless like I had opened it up for them. It's a good feeling when you find someone like really deserving of an opportunity and you help them with that opportunity and like bring them success, and then you're both successful together. I think that's like the dopest thing, and I think probably like one of my best achievements. My biggest inspiration is how cool and random things can just come along, and how like opportunities really are just tied into like the energies of the world. Like things can just randomly come about, and you could grab onto this opportunity and just make it as best as you want to work at it. And I think what keeps me going is a lot of like self-motivation and self-preservation. But when you see just a little bit of like progress in something that you're working on, it gives me the motivation to keep going. And progress doesn't even have to always mean meeting my exact goal. I'm a little bit different from many people in the sense that I get excited over the small things, and that helps me get to the bigger things. So like a little tiny step in the right direction, I remind myself that there's some people who may never be able to, you know, do that. And I remind myself, instead of like being like selfish or greedy, that I didn't get this exact thing that I wanted this perfect way, but this small little step is a huge step for someone else. That motivates me to take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps. And even if I don't make it to that goal, again, like I said before, something else comes along the way, and that keeps me motivated to keep going. Coming into the pandemic, I knew, you know, it was something, this pandemic is something that nobody young has seen before. And even some people 100 years old may not have seen. Maybe some people older have seen something similar to this, but it's the first time we all have had to deal with something together around the entire Earth. Like the whole entire Earth, we see things that go on in another country and we're like, oh, that sucks for them. And people see stuff happen to us and like, oh, that sucks for us. This is the first time we all collectively had to figure out what to do to make things work, which I thought was like a bittersweet situation. And for me personally, I always look at a bad situation as an opportunity to excel. Even in something as dark as this, I'm like, okay, what do we have to do the right thing in this situation? How do we, you know, protect ourselves, be safe, be healthy, follow all the right protocols? And once that's secured, what's the silver lining to the situation? And the truth is, the silver lining to the situation for me is, I know a lot of people may have used the pandemic as an opportunity to take a break, you know, and if that's all you could do, that's totally understandable. Not everybody was able to excel in the situation. Some people are in an emotional state where they can't excel. Some people are in a financial state where they couldn't. And for the people that their best option was to, you know, stay safe for themselves and stay in the position they're in, that's totally understandable, and that's what it has to be for those individuals. What I look to try to do in a situation, no matter what situation I'm put in, is how and what way can I excel in the situation, because I know a lot of other people may, not that they're not able to, some people may use that situation as an excuse to not do something. So I pushed very aggressively through a publishing deal that we were working on with Sony around this time. And while everything else was, I remember I had a bunch of label meetings all lined up around this week that LA was just shutting down. Like, they were just pulling the switch on everything. And I remember, like, right while going into a label meeting, I get a call from, like, you know, the vice president or an executive over at a specific label, like, hey, sorry, everything's closed because of COVID, and every business was taking their own initial measures. And we managed to slide it on one final meeting right before, like, everything was officially closed, and it was with Sony ATV. And I linked with the vice president. We did like a final presentation right before they were shutting down, and we began actually negotiating a publishing deal with Bighead Music Publishing throughout the pandemic. And because everything was closed, when we finally were able to do our deal, we couldn't go into an office because that wasn't allowed. Everything was closed down. So we did what, to my knowledge, was the first ever Instagram Live signing of a deal. And me and Bighead got on Instagram Live with the vice president of Sony ATV, and we signed our deal over Instagram Live with them. So I use that as a symbol to me to just think, like, if I could achieve that throughout the pandemic, we're doing everything safely, we're doing everything within, like, health restrictions. What else, you know, what else can I always do? What can I continue to do? And learning that I was able to do that, it instills in you the ability to, like, push through, you know, almost anything, you know. So throughout the pandemic, the significant things that we did, we were able to, you know, pull a really, really big publishing deal with one of the biggest publishers in the entire world, and we locked it all down over Instagram Live. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, we just did this, I can't even speak on it yet, honestly, but, like, I'll hint towards it. Like, we started working, okay, 3 Days Grace is a band that Bighead had sampled his Witchblades records from, and that was one of Little Peep and Bighead's biggest records, was Witchblades. And we started working with them at the beginning of this year while they were in the US, just before the pandemic really, before everything took off, and they're a Canadian-based band. So I've always, you know, I was a kid, I listened to 3 Days Grace growing up, so I was always, like, a really big fan of them. So I would say working and collaborating with them has been really, really cool. I've been, like, executive producing and overseeing, managing, and A&Ring, like, a lot of really cool records with them that are gonna be coming out soon that are, like, incredible. Like, the collaborations we have on them are, like, super dope, like, two totally different worlds. So I'd say that's one of the funnest ones, I think, because it's someone who, like, I was a fan of, you know, growing up, getting to work with them. And who I'd want to work with, let's see, man, I'm excited for Bighead to do a record with Drake, honestly. A Drake record would probably be it. We've got some that we think would be dope for him. I'm sure I'm not there yet, to be honest with you. Like, everything I've done, I put blood, sweat, and tears into. Every single thing I've worked my ass off for to get, but I feel like there's still more. I feel like, you know, that there's still some really dope things coming, knock on wood. Some of the coolest things are, like, yet to come that are right around the corner. I would default back to, like, you know, me and Bighead teaming up and getting us together to where we're at now. I really feel like that was, like, my greatest milestone, because it wasn't just a music achievement, but it was really, like, you know, a life achievement to, like, give back, to help someone, and, like, you know, him trusting in me. Like, I think that's, you know, one of my greatest achievements, because it's not just about the music, it's about like the quality of life and creating opportunity, you know, in and outside of music for someone. And I would still say that's probably the greatest one to me. But I still feel like my greatest achievement is definitely yet to come, for sure. Greatest strength is my inability to give up. Sometimes even when you need to give up, I will keep pushing. I won't stop. You know, and sometimes it's hurt me, but even in that hurting process, something was learned or a new opportunity came. So it's never fully hurt me. It's always been more of an asset than like something that's hurt me. So I would say like my greatest strength is definitely like my ability to just keep going and keep pushing and keep finding a way to make something happen. The thing about what I do is it could literally change the same day, but I normally like, you know, work throughout each week to set a calendar. I have a series of calendars for my artists, my producers, my labels, brands, and companies, and have everything set up by like, be it studio sessions, meetings, phone calls, whatever it might be, calls or follow-ups with attorneys, record releases and marketing plans. And usually each day there's always surprise things being added to the calendar, new things that come along that just might be added. So my day can vary depending on whether, if we have a late night studio session, my days may start a little bit later. What's different for me though than a lot of my artists, or producers, is that even if we have a late night studio session, I might still have to wake up and do the day-to-day stuff. So I might still have to be up like 7 or 8 in the morning, even if I just went to sleep at 6 or even 7 or not sleep, and continue on with like day-to-day activities that may involve like calls, emails, meetings, marketing plans, promotions. So my day-to-day can either go around the clock, or it could completely be based on what the activities of that day are. And it's not surprising throughout the week for things to just pop up on the calendar like last minute. Manage stress among my team members. I probably cause stress among my team members. You know, because I push everyone pretty hard. I like to push everyone past their limits, and I can also be pretty annoying because I play like 10 different roles. But keeping everyone motivated is by helping everyone see the final picture. Like trying my best to be like good and honest to everyone, trying to make sure everyone's taken care of as best as possible. And I think people really seeing like what my intentions are for our goals helps a lot. But by showing everybody, you know, bringing opportunities is important, always bringing new opportunities so people don't feel like they're stuck in a cycle, and showing them that, you know, that final result. It might not be something that we see the next day or the next week or the next month, but as long as we see growth and progress, it keeps everyone motivated and pushing forward to keep doing things and trying things outside of the box. Because a lot of success is going against the grain, doing things you might not want to do, or doing things that might look super difficult, but might open up another opportunity further down the line, and keeping my team on top of that mindset. Yeah, I have a ton of, you know, growth options. I mean, we have reality shows that we're planning for Bighead. We have reality shows we're planning for other artists on our team that I'm working with, some really unique like content reality shows that we're looking to distribute on platforms that people would be really surprised that we're looking to use as tools. And we're in discussions with some of these, some really unique companies to put out reality show concepts. We're looking to partner with overseas clothing companies where Bighead would have, in partnership with us, a unique clothing company that's already been established that he's looking to make a partnership with. We're looking to get into gaming. Bighead at heart is a motocross racer, so getting into like gaming, creating his own league or creating his own podcast. We're looking at creating our own podcast as well, music business interviews. There's a ton of things we're looking to branch into. We're looking to open up a tattoo shop. So we have a lot of cool new ventures out like on the horizon, like beyond management, where we're going to use the established brand that we have and look into new markets and new opportunities.